Welcome to the Money Manifestation Mastery podcast with your host, Lara Waldman, where we talk all things money. Big money, big purpose, big power. Waking up your wealth for heart-centered business owners and entrepreneurs. In today's episode, we are going to pump up the value. Pump up the value of what you offer and who you are. That beautiful being, business owner, behind everything that you're creating. Hold the value of who you are and what you offer and watch your financial reality transform. Let's dive in. I've been having a number of conversations this week all about value, holding the value of what you offer and who you are. I've been having some deep diving conversations and coaching sessions all around this subject. It's one of my favorite subjects because it's also something that I've struggled with so much over the years and have found some really amazing tools to support you with holding your own value of your services, your offers, as well as yourself at the center point of everything that you do. This is a deep, rich conversation and one that your mind may struggle with from time to time. So we're going to talk all around the subject of value and know that you're going to have your own unique experience around value. You will have your own access point into this conversation. I'm going to be exploring ideas and concepts with you, and then you get to see where you want to plug this conversation in to your work, to your wealth, to yourself, and start to explore this subject. We are moving beyond the mind, we are moving beyond the past, and we are opening up to new possibilities. And these new possibilities may challenge your current or past ways of thinking, perceiving, and believing. And this is why I love calling on the consciousness of your soul, your higher self, your heart's consciousness, your body's wisdom, because we need to tap into your wealthy wisdom beyond the mind. There is so much here for you, ready and waiting, and I'd love to take you deeper and higher in today's conversation. When it comes to value, there are different ways to look at this subject. One is the value of your service or your offer or your work. The other is market value, how others determine or decipher the value of what you do. And then there's your own value, your own unique value, and your relationship with your value. The area that I work on, first and foremost, is around your value, how to hold your value, and that being the center point or the thing that feeds everything you do from that central line. But they are separate things. The value of your service and offer and the value of who you are, they are not the same thing, but they feed each other. And what I've found is when business owners are not holding their own value, they dim or they diminish the value of their services or offers. So it is really important that we start within and go within around self-value. The challenge with this conversation is that the subject of value is often hiding in our beautiful blind spots inside of the money blocks, and you won't necessarily see it consciously, but you'll start to experience it in the surface level symptoms that are showing up in your finances, in your business, with your clients, in your team. All of those leaks, those money leaks, will start showing up in all areas of your life. And this is why it's so important to pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the symptoms, and pay attention to how you're feeling about it, because those will all be signposts that are guiding you home. So you take those external results or those external symptoms and start to go within. I was on a call with someone this week where we were looking at their service, their offer, and their income. Their work is extraordinary. I attract in people who are highly skilled, highly qualified, very gifted and talented at what they do. But we look at how the external value and the internal value are misaligned. When there is a mismatch between the service, the offer, the skill, and how much the business owner is being paid or compensated, this is where we go in and to try and find out what is going on in the inner game of the business owner and entrepreneur. What I found in this case is that they aren't holding their value. They dim themselves. They diminish themselves. There's a lack of confidence and a lack of clarity. They shrink themselves and they leak a lot of energy. Can go into overgiving, over-serving, over-delivering, overworking, trying to prove their worth, trying to prove their value. And they end up running in circles, leaking so much time energy, money energy, energy. When we go inside, we find that there's a place that doesn't know how to receive. And this comes from a lack of confidence, a lack of self-worth, not holding the value of who they are and what they offer. And I have been the worst when it comes to not holding the value of who I am and what I do. Like I've shared before, everything I share with you in this podcast, I have learned the hard way, overcoming pain, problems, and obstacles over and over again. I used to completely overgive. I wanted to help everyone, serve everyone, give the gift of healing, of consciousness, of helping people to solve their problems, helping people to find pathways through their pain and suffering. I felt deeply passionate about this and I cared immensely for people, and I still do. But what I was doing was not sustainable. It was energy going out and not enough energy coming back in. It didn't make sense. And what happens from this place is we end up running our own charity or basically working for free. And sometimes our business costing us. So my business was actually a hobby or a free service because I wasn't even covering my own costs. But I was giving so much time energy, emotional energy, mental energy, money energy. It was all just going out and not coming back in. And this came from a really good place of selfless service and spirituality and wanting to be a good and generous person, which I was and I still am. But what I couldn't see was this little slippery snake that didn't know how to receive. And when I went deeper, I found that I had little to no self-worth. I had very little sense of self. I had self-abandoned. I had rejected an aspect of myself. Deep inside, I felt that I was bad and unlovable. And I didn't know how to receive. And this lay in trauma, where I had been rejected, where I had been abandoned. And so I abandoned myself. And in the wound of my work, there was a little part of me saying, please don't hurt me. Please love me. Please see me. Please don't leave me. This little wounded part, just desperate to be loved, desperate to be seen, desperate to be valued, and desperate to feel safe in the world. It took me a while to find that part of myself because we can't see these parts. They're in the unconscious until we get conscious about it. And this is the great gift of working consciously and mindfully with business and consciously and mindfully with money. It puts a big spotlight on yourself because wherever you go, there you are. It is extraordinary. Now, you're not necessarily going to see it right away. Like I said, you're going to meet these parts through the surface level symptoms or the surface level problems. And what often happens when you're not holding your value, when you're not honoring the value of your work, what happens? Well, what I've noticed is, one, you're not being paid well enough. You're not being well compensated. But One of the emotions that can come up is resentment, frustration, or anger. That is always a sign that there is some part of yourself that's not being honored. And it can start looking like other people taking advantage of you, or people taking but not giving, or people wanting more and more from you and it never being enough. You can start feeling like you're being taken for a ride. Or even if people can see the value or they appreciate you, you're unable to receive. You're unable to hear their compliments or hear their feedbacks. It's all landing on deaf ears. And what I see so many people doing from this place is letting other people determine the value. So if someone says no to you, or someone judges you or criticizes you for what you're doing or what you're charging, or they say, I can't afford it, or start to negotiate with you, I notice people will start to dim. They'll start to bring down their pricing. They'll start to accommodate based on other people's judgments, opinions, or capacity. It's like being a tumbleweed in the wind. You're just reacting and responding and getting pushed and pulled and dragged all around. And it's exhausting. It's infuriating. And it makes what you're wanting to do and how you're wanting to serve unsustainable at the end of the day. And I'm all about sustainability because you've got really important work to do. You have so much to give. You have so much to offer. Highly skilled, highly qualified. And that needs to be honored. That needs to be held. That needs to be looked after. And unfortunately, the only person that can do that for you is you. I can hold the value with you, but I can't do it for you. So in this conversation, we're going to hold the line. We're going to raise the bar. We're going to inspire you to raise the roof on what is possible. Lift the lid. Hold the value. Now, this is not going to be comfortable because there will be judgment, there will be kickback, there will be no's, there will be rejection. If you're looking to the outside world to see your value, own your value, hold your value, you're going to be very disappointed. Some people will, most people won't. Your job is to hold the value of who you are and what you do. So how do you hold the value? How do you do that? Well, I always start within. And this is where I work with future wealthy you, the empowered, wealthy leader that is lying dormant inside of you. This is your power. This is who you are when you're deeply connected, calm, confident, aligned. You can find this part of you from your soul's consciousness, your heart's consciousness, your body's wisdom. This part of you lives beyond the mind, lives beyond your trauma, lives beyond your hardwiring nervous system responses. We need to go deeper and richer to find this part of you. And one of the ways to hack this system is to first get clear on how much you want to get paid. How much do you want to pay yourself? How much do you want to earn? What feels like a good exchange? What's going to allow you to be well-fed, well-compensated, well-resourced so you can really serve and tap into that amount of money? And there might be a next level, what you'd like to see in the next 12 months. And there might be even a bigger level where you want to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And you want to tap into that version of yourself that's already created that wealth. And this is going to wake up and activate this wealth consciousness, this wealthy wisdom, and this power that lives inside of you. It's just been lying dormant. It's been hidden. It's been squashed. It's been shamed. It's living in fear. It's living in lack and not enough. And we want to activate that part of you that is a leader, that is going to lead in your life, that's going to hold the line, hold the bar, hold the value, that's deeply rooted in themselves, rather than being the tumbleweed in the wind, spinning your wheels, overgiving, running around like a headless chicken. We want to root down, anchor, connect, and get crystal clear on who you are, what you're here to do, what you want, what you need. So we tap into this by connecting to who are you when the money is here? Who is this version of yourself? How do they hold themselves? How do they value themselves? How do they look after themselves? This is this wealthy wisdom that we want to activate. And right now, it's a weak muscle, or it's a muscle that hasn't been used. And we need to strengthen this part of you, train this part of you, welcome this part of you in the world, and build those money muscles. So this is part of the discipline. This is part of the daily practice. And this is where you lead from your wealth. But it's going to take some energy, it's going to take some focus, and it's going to take some discipline. And it's going to take a lot of practice. And you will fail. You are going to fail at this over and over again. Just like surfing, you're going to fall off the surfboard, but we're going to get back on the surfboard and connect back into holding yourself, pumping that value. And how can you hold yourself through the setbacks, through the challenges, through the no's, through the rejection, through the judgment, through the criticism? How can you hold yourself when there isn't enough? When you aren't making the sales? When you're not getting the results that you want? This is the practice and this is the discipline. Picking yourself back up off the floor and getting back into alignment, back into connection. Day in, day out. Holding yourself. And this is the place that I recommend making decisions from. If it had been up to me and my beautiful brain, my limited capacity, and my lack of self-worth, I would have kept my prices very, very low. I would have stayed doing the same work. I wouldn't have changed. I would have kept my life and my business very small. But what I chose to do was to tap into that soul wisdom, to my inner guidance, that wealthy wisdom within, and ask that part of me what I needed to do, how much I needed to charge, how I needed to package my services, sell my services, market my services. And this part of me really stretched my capacity, really expanded my level of thinking, and would tell me how much to charge and who it was for and how to package my services and what to offer and who to offer them to. But it was very stressful for my brain. It really, really stretched me and scared me and challenged me and triggered me. And so the practice was to keep connecting to that part over and over again until I acclimatized, until I rewired to receive, until that became my new normal. And that was a discipline and a practice to hold that level. And in some cases, it took me time, months and sometimes years, to really finally click in, to hold the value, understand the value. So now when I make my offers, to me, it's a complete no-brainer, where the return on investment is crystal clear. So now I can say, this is the price of what I do and what I offer. It is a no-brainer based on the return on that investment, based on the value that I know you will receive if you lean in, show up, and do the work. But I wasn't always at that place. In the beginning, I was completely shocked by what I was being asked to charge and what I was being asked to do, because it was a change. It was a pivot from what I was doing before. My default was to want to shrink, to diminish, to lower my pricing, to dim the value, because that was mirroring my lack of self-worth, my fear of rejection, my fear of attack, my fear of abandon. So I just wanted to dim and shrink and hide. And that's what I did for a long time. And my default wanted to pull me into that space and place. The practice and the discipline was to hold the value, hold the line, hold the bar in the face of all that fear. So when you're connected to future wealthy you, who you are when the money is here, how do they hold themselves in their own personal value? And how do they value what they do? And that value, holding that value, is going to mirror in how you sell your products or services, how you market your product or services, how you package your product or services, and who you sell your products and services to. What I know is that if you are not well fed, if you are not well resourced, if you are not well compensated for what you do, there will be a cost. A financial cost, or a cost to your energy, a cost to your health, a cost to your well-being. And it won't be sustainable. Essentially, it will stop working. You need to be well fed. You need to be well resourced. You need to be well fueled so that you can serve, so that you can show up, so that you can lead. It's essential. It's not greedy. It's not selfish. It is an essential need. Because I know you're here to make a big impact in the world. And that's what you want to do. You want to make an impact. You want to inspire. You want to make a difference. You want to help people. You want to share your great gifts with the world. That's all living inside of you. This world of wealth that is longing to be expressed, longing to be received, longing to make a difference in the world. But it won't be able to happen on the level that you want it to if you are not receiving. It's quite confusing because it's in a beautiful blind spot, but this is why it's so important. And I'm going to take a powerful stand for you and with you to help you raise the bar, hold that value, hold the line. In the beginning, it will feel very uncomfortable. In the beginning, it will feel scary, but eventually you will acclimatize. You will rewire to receive until it becomes your new normal. Yes, you're going to have to pivot. Yes, some things are going to have to change, but if you tune into that empowered, future wealthy you that holds their value and holds the value of what you do and who you serve, you will know what to do because that part of you will guide you one step at a time. Now, please know this is a step-by-step process. What's really interesting is to get a clear sense of that next level of value when you pump up that value and hold that value. And it might be a step-by-step process for you to fully claim it, fully embody it, and fully lead from that place. So as long as you're making progress, that's a win. One step at a time. Rewiring to receive can take a minute. You get to decide if you're going to do a quantum leap or you're going to go step by step. It's really determined on where you are in your current situation. We need to work with present day reality as you bridge that gap between where you are now and where you want to be. So it might be a slow, steady, sustainable movement forward, or it just might be time to take a quantum leap. You get to decide, you get to choose how fast or slow you go on this path. Either way, it is going to be uncomfortable. Either way, it's going to be scary. And you take one step at a time, one breath at a time. It is your job to hold the value of who you are and what you do. Do not determine your value based on other people's judgments, opinions, or projections. You will get kickback, you will get resistance. There will be all sorts of opinions coming at you. It doesn't matter. Let them. Let them judge, let them project, let them think what they think, let them believe what they believe. When you know your value and you hold your value, that's all that matters. And eventually, life all around you will adjust and adapt. And you too will adjust and adapt in time. Thank you for joining us for today's conversation. Pump up the value. I hope your value has been pumped up. You've raised the bar and you are holding it on a new level. I'd love to hear what is landing for you, what is pumping for you, and please don't hesitate to get in touch. I'd love to hear what you are receiving from today's conversation. And if you would like any help with this, if you would like me to stand with you as we raise the bar and hold the value, I'd love to invite you to come and apply for a free money mastery breakthrough session with me. You can visit my website, larawaldman.com, click on breakthrough, fill in the application, and book a time, and we will meet together live on Zoom and go through all of this together. It's really powerful, really beautiful, and you'll be amazed at actually how simple it is. So visit my website, larawaldman.com, apply for your free session now, and I look forward to having a deeper dive with you one-to-one very soon. See you again next time.